In the 1970s, street racing wasn't about rules, it was about reputation. Late at night, on empty roads, powerful machines lined up for one purpose: to prove who was the fastest. No traction control, no safety systems, just raw V8 power and fearless drivers. These cars weren't just built for speed, they were built to dominate the streets. And the legends they created still live on today. Number 8. 1970 Chevrolet Nova SS 396. The 1970 Chevrolet Nova SS 396 was one of the most feared street racers of its time. It didn't have flashy styling or a massive presence, but that was exactly what made it dangerous. Under the hood was a 396 cubic inch V8, producing around 350 horsepower, packed into a relatively lightweight body. What made the Nova truly special was its power-to-weight ratio. It could launch hard and gain speed quickly, often surprising much more expensive and aggressive-looking cars. On the street, it became known as a sleeper, a car that didn't look fast but delivered serious performance. Drivers loved it for its simplicity and raw power, but controlling it wasn't always easy. One wrong move, and the rear end could step out instantly. Number 7. 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger 340. The 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger 340 was another street racing favorite that proved you didn't need a massive engine to be fast. Powered by a high-revving 340 cubic inch V8, this car delivered around 275 horsepower, but its real strength came from how quickly it could build speed. Lightweight and compact, the Dart had a major advantage on the street. It could accelerate hard off the line and maintain strong momentum, making it a serious competitor in short-distance races. What made it dangerous was its responsiveness. The power came in quickly, and without modern traction systems, it could easily lose grip if pushed too hard. Number 6. 1971 Plymouth Duster 340. The 1971 Plymouth Duster 340 street racing cars of its time. It didn't continue, but
340 cubic inch V8, and even though it was 1971, it still has 75 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque. That's more than enough to get this curious little car rolling, but I guess we'll see if it's truly enough. 3-speed automatic transmission, so launching this car should be a snap. And how about those seats? I think they're absolutely awesome. It looks like this car murdered my grandma's couch.
And once modified, these cars became even faster, turning into serious street machines. On the road, it was quick, agile, and unpredictable. The combination of lightweight and strong acceleration made it easy to lose control if you weren't careful. But for experienced drivers, it was the perfect balance of speed and simplicity. A true street racing legend. Which of these 1970s street racing legends would you choose to drive? And do you think you could actually handle that kind of raw power on the streets? Number 5. 1970 Ford Torino Cobra 419. The 1970 Ford Torino Cobra 419 was built for one thing: raw, unstoppable power. Under the hood sat a massive 429 cubic inch V8, producing around 370 horsepower. But like many cars of that era, the real output was likely much higher. This wasn't a lightweight street racer, but it didn't need to be. The sheer torque from that big block engine gave it incredible straight-line speed. Once it got moving, it was hard to catch. On the streets, it earned a reputation for dominating long, open runs, where power mattered most. But that power came with a challenge. Controlling a car this heavy with so much torque wasn't easy. It required skill and confidence, especially when pushing it to its limits. In the right hands, though, it was a true force on the street. Number 4. 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 400. The 1970 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 400 wasn't just built for speed, it was built with balance. Under the hood was a 400 cubic inch V8, producing around 345 horsepower. But what made this car stand out was how it delivered that power. Unlike some of the more unpredictable muscle cars of the era, the Trans Am offered a mix of control and performance that made it extremely effective on the street. Its aggressive styling, wide stance, and low profile gave it a strong presence, especially at night when street races took place. Drivers trusted it because it didn't just go fast in a straight line. It could handle better than most rivals. But that didn't mean it was easy to drive. Push it too hard, and it could still break traction quickly. In the hands of a skilled driver, though, it was one of the most complete street racing machines of the 1970s. Number 3. 1969 Dodge Charger 440. The 1969 Dodge Charger 440 was one of the most iconic and intimidating street racers of its time. With a massive 440 cubic inch V8 under the hood, producing around 375 horsepower, this car delivered serious straight-line performance. The moment you hit the throttle, it responded with a surge of power that could easily overwhelm the rear tires. Its long body and aggressive design made it instantly recognizable, and on the streets, it built a reputation as a car you didn't want to line up against. It wasn't the quickest off the line compared to lighter cars, but once it gained momentum, it became incredibly hard to beat. What made it dangerous was its weight combined with raw power. Controlling it required skill, especially at higher speeds. But for those who mastered it, the Charger 440 became a true street legend. Number 2. 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner 4T6 HEMI. The 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner 4T6 HEMI was built for pure, unapologetic performance. Under the hood was the legendary 4T6 HEMI V8, producing around 425 horsepower. But numbers don't fully capture how this car felt. The power delivery was instant, aggressive, and often overwhelming. This car was known for its brutal launches. From a standstill, it could explode forward with incredible force, making it one of the most feared machines on both the street and the drag strip. It didn't have luxury features or refined handling. It was built with one goal in mind: speed. What made it truly dangerous was how unpredictable it could be. Too much throttle, and the rear end would break loose instantly. It demanded respect from the driver, but in the right hands, it was nearly unstoppable. Number 1. 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6. At the top of the list is the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6, a car that defined what true street dominance looked like. Powered by a massive 454 cubic inch V8, producing a factory-rated 450 horsepower, this was one of the most powerful muscle cars ever built. But the real story was torque. The LS6 delivered power in a way that felt almost uncontrollable. The moment you pressed the gas, the car surged forward with incredible force, often breaking traction even at higher speeds. On the streets of the 1970s, this car became a legend. It wasn't just fast, it was feared. Drivers knew that lining up against an LS6 Chevelle was a serious risk. This wasn't just a muscle car, it was the king of the streets. These cars weren't just fast, they were unpredictable, raw, and built in a time when nothing held them back. Street racing in the 1970s wasn't about technology or precision. It was about courage, skill, and who was willing to push their machine to the limit. Today, cars may be faster and safer, but they'll never recreate the same feeling these legends delivered on the streets. Because back then, every race meant something. Every win built a reputation, and every mistake had consequences. So now the question is, which of these street racing legends would you trust yourself to drive? And more importantly, would you actually be able to control it?